Well, now I got a gal and there ain't no doubt. She got kisses so sweet they make my teeth fall out. Yo, pretty sugar. Yeah, she's your pretty sugar.
Welcome to this special episode of Junk Food on the Road. On the road.
Yes.
We are right now sitting in a little, what would you call this? Cubby seat?
Yeah, kind of a, I don't know.
We're at the beach, sort of. We're halfway between the pool and the beach at the resort.
We can say what resort we're in.
We're in Club Med in Bali. And they have these crazy chairs that are gigantic circles. They fit two adults nicely. And then they have this sort of awning that you can put over top. So you feel like you're in a little cave.
Yeah. We can see a bar right now that's on the beach.
Yeah.
Right in front of us. And you might hear some wind rustling and some trees and maybe the occasional yell. And
yeah, there's a bunch of kids playing in the pool. We're pretty far from the pool. This is a big resort. So.
Yeah. But I mean, Bali is sort of known for being one of those paradise places. Like, if you went to a cheesy restaurant and there was a poster of paradise, it might say Bali underneath it.
Yeah, it's pretty paradisey.
Yeah, it's pretty what you would call the paradise.
It's what surprised me here is it's constantly windy.
Yes.
And I mean breezy windy. It's not like gusting, but it's just there's never not wind. So
yeah. Well, we haven't actually discussed what this episode's about.
It's about resort food.
Resort and maybe
specifically
hotel.
Bali.
Yeah, I mean
Club Med.
Focused on Bali. I wouldn't say specifically, but more focused.
Yeah.
We might do some comparisons.
Because there's resort foods, every hotels and resorts. If they're of a certain quality, they'll have lots of fresh fruit, an omelet station where you can choose your own omelet ingredients, and
I think we should actually start this off with one of our biggest complaints about resorts, and that is that people talk about resorts, that the word all-inclusive. Yeah. And that is something that isn't always the same everywhere you go.
You can't find a real all-inclusive resort on the internet unless you know exactly what you're looking for, exactly the name of the resort.
The definition of if you want to, the Club Med is the purest definition. You will always get all-inclusive at a Club Med.
Yeah.
Because you get
that includes activities.
Yeah, activities, meals, snacks, drinks, everything.
Yeah.
That means it's all inclusive. We have no Indonesian money, and we've not taken any Indonesian money, and we've been here. This is day 8.
7. Tomorrow's we're leaving.
With zero Indonesian money.
Yeah, because it's just everything's paid. I mean, we did get a massage.
Yes.
And that was extra. But, it's a really nice spa.
Generally, yeah, in all-inclusive is almost everything. I mean, it's...
the waters, but we can go, paddleboarding, we can go kayaking, we can go snorkeling, we can play all the golf we want, all the tennis we want, all the archery we want.
Meals,
badminton, basketball, mulki. We can play mulki.
We learned what mulki was.
We learned how to play mulki. Which is kind of fun.
So, we'll get to the...
Yeah. Okay, but food.
The meals, what I found most of the time, most resorts, and particularly Bali, your main meal, your main thing, the thing where everybody eats, is generally a buffet.
Yeah.
And generally a buffet, a large buffet.
Yeah, with lots and lots of selection.
Yeah.
Wow. So, that was just a huge wave there.
See, we are at the beach. So yeah, and generally that involves a carvery.
Yeah, the carvery here is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's serious.
But can I talk a little bit about what we found outside?
Outside of Bali?
Outside of the resort?
Well, let's finish the resort.
Okay.
Because then the other
I thought we could come back to the resort.
Okay, because I was going to talk about the other option you get is generally there's a nice restaurant too.
Yeah, sort of like a cruise.
It's a lot
Club Med is a lot like a cruise. There's a show every night, and there's good buffet. Yeah, and then there's a nice restaurant, and you don't pay extra for that. You just make a reservation.
Yeah.
And then.
And there's almost always food available, because when the buffet closes between meals, you go to the nice restaurant and they have a late
breakfast, late lunch.
Yeah, that almost runs all the way until the next meal starts.
And the bar, one of the bars, the main bar, has a snack menu starting at 4.
And sometimes it has side things, it'll have crepes or stuff like that too.
And last night there was Vegemite.
There was Vegemite.
It's funny too, because you get these theme nights where the restaurant, the buffet, will do the theme, But then sometimes, like last night, you'll also get extras in the theme where like there's people from all sorts of different countries that work at these resorts. And last night they put up little booths to sort of sample a bit of their food or culture or
booze.
Booze.
There's a lot of booze.
There's a
lot of booze
booze
everywhere. Like you come here and if they offer you beer and you say no thank you, they're like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
Oh, it must be because you prefer wine.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, I'll get you some wine. It's like, no. It's like, what do you want? Shooters? I'd like some soda water, please.
Yeah. So if you're drinking, you will get your money's worth out of here.
Yeah.
If you're not, it'll be a little harder.
Yeah. We try and get our money's worth by, trying all the activities, which is good because it works off all the food that we eat.
It does not work off all the food that you eat.
No, that's probably
You eat
true.
a lot.
You eat a lot at a buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because there's so many different little things to try. You just take a little tiny spoonful of each thing, and then you end up with like a gigantic plate.
And that's the difference between a good all-inclusive and a bad one. Even for breakfast, like a cruddy hotel breakfast is generally like, you have sort of breads, maybe eggs, sausage, like just a few things.
Maybe some cheese. Well, there was that one place in Chiang Mai that had cookies.
Yeah.
Cookies and instant coffee.
Yeah, so like that's one thing to talk about. Like when you talk about meals at a resort or at a hotel, is breakfast is almost always included in a lot of those things.
But if you got to be careful with the coffee because in some places in the world, such as Asia, you are not going to find sort of North American style drip coffee. It's all espresso based, everything. So if you like drip coffee, then you're just going to have to suffer.
In Bali, you can go get yourself some weasel coffee.
Yes, you can. Indonesia is one of the Civet Cat Coffee's places.
I think it's one of the main ones.
Yes, it is the main one, but they do it in Vietnam and Cambodia as well.
Yeah. But this is probably
This is also one of the sort of more notorious ones for mistreating the civet cats, but I think there are also responsible producers.
Yeah, there's actually one of the, we can talk about, we went off the grounds of the resort in
Finally,
Bali.
we can talk about this.
And we went to, and I saw there was one of the stores had a little display where you can actually visit a farm.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we did buy some civet cat chocolate. We haven't tried it yet.
No, that will be a future episode of Chris, Why Would You Eat That?
Yeah. So basically, if you don't know, civet cat coffee, it's called Luwak or something here. Luwak is the name of this, called the civet cat. They eat the coffee beans and then they poop them out, and there's like certain enzymes that don't destroy the coffee beans in their intestines, but it changes the coffee. And then they poop out the beans and then they wash them very, very carefully and then make coffee out of that.
You've had civet cat coffee?
I've had civet. I have some in our freezer.
So, and what would you say about it?
Well, it's dark roasted, and I don't really like dark roast coffee, so in general, I don't like it. But
would you say it's like, because I know in North America it's very expensive.
It's extremely expensive.
Would you say it's worth try? Like, even if you're just trying once, would you say, hey, that's a $20 cup of coffee? Is that worth?
I'd say it's worth trying once.
To say you ate it? To say you tried it?
Yeah. And it does taste a little bit different. And like I said, like when you dark roast anything, it takes the flavor right out. Like you can't really make this flavor distinctions. So if you can find a medium roast,
maybe we should get you a medium roast.
I don't think they have it at least in anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, because dark roast coffee tastes like dark roast coffee no matter what.
Okay.
But medium roast coffee, there's like flavor differences.
Yeah.
And light roast coffee, even more flavor differences.
So what else did you want to talk about leaving the grounds?
There's two things. There's the first of all, there's the anise seed flavored Fisherman's Friends. Fisherman's Friends is a thing in Asia with like a multitude of flavors, and here was the first time we ever saw it with anise.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool.
Bought a pack.
But then there were two other things that we actually bought. One of which we've tried, and one we haven't yet. The one we haven't tried yet is the cashews that are covered in cocoa powder.
Yeah.
So I'm dying to try those. I've never seen them anywhere else.
There is a bit of cocoa growing in this area too, so it could even be local.
Yeah. And again, there's the chocolate bar. I guess I can't imagine a civet cat eating a cocoa bean, because cocoa beans are huge.
I don't quite understand.
Like, I don't know how they do this, but we'll see. And the other thing I found, and I had this like insane, stupid conversation with some guy about what it was. He just thought it was canned coffee, because canned coffee is a thing in Asia. It's everywhere. I've been living in Asia for like 9 years. It's like canned coffee is a thing, but this was not canned coffee. This was soda pop. This was coffee soda pop. It was called coffee cream, sort of like cream soda.
Polaris.
And it was the brand was Polaris, and it was actually a coffee pop, not canned coffee pop, carbonated pop with like lots of sugar, like pop is supposed to have. And we shared it with one of the international staff here too, because he really likes coffee, and we thought it'll be fun. And he's a super nice guy too. So.
And if you want to see the can, you can go to @CandyCritic on Twitter. I've got a picture of it up there.
Cool. Yep. And so it was quite an experience. Like we sort of like that. All three of us tried it, and it was kind of like this. It was definitely had a coffee tone to it, but we sort of vacillated between burnt caramel and molasses flavor.
I also said a bit of Dr. Pepper.
Oh, that's right. You and Alan thought it was Dr. Peppery. I don't drink Dr. Pepper, so I couldn't really opine on that part.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper sort of got this like syrupy kind
molassesy,
of maybe,
caramelly.
yeah.
But it was really surprisingly good.
Yeah,
it did not taste like a cup of coffee. It did not taste like canned coffee at all. But it had a really nice flavor. Yeah. And we checked it out on Instagram, and whereas Kit Kat has 1 million Instagram hits?
13 million.
13 million Instagram hits. This one had 9?
Yeah.
Or 11 or something?
Yeah.
So
I think it had 10, but 3 of them were the same person.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't think it's really, there was only 1 can on the shelf, and we picked it up. I don't know where it's made. And obviously it's not like a huge thing, or else it would be on Instagram more. But it was really quite good. Surprisingly good.
It was good.
And you don't even drink coffee.
No, it was the right level of sweet for me, that it didn't have that sort of burny flavor or anything. Yeah. So I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about fruit?
So fruit, the one thing I learned here is, I've had this before, and I mentioned it before, was the snakeskin fruit.
Okay.
Apparently they're found here, like they're actually grown here. And so I had one of those. I first had one in Thailand, and it's the ugliest looking fruit on the outside. It looks like snakeskin.
It's actually kind of cool.
It's kind of cool looking. The other cool thing about it is, because the skin is kind of tough, I put it out of my pocket for like 2 days, and it was still in okay condition. And the other cool thing is, the way that you peel it is just very satisfying.
Yeah.
Like, you'd think it'd be really hard to peel, but once you sort of get in there, it's like really easy and really satisfying. Like, I would love to peel a bunch of those.
It's sort of like one of the avocados that has the fairly tough, substantial rind, but with a solid fruit underneath, so you don't get like the squishiness as you're trying to peel it.
Yeah, and they're fair. I mean, taste-wise, they're kind of meh, but I mean, you're in Bali, and as you know, in Bali, it's like lots of pineapple, lots of coconuts, lots of that sort of what you would expect in a sort of a tropical resort area thing. I mean, we're literally looking
dragon fruit, like star fruit,
like 20 palm trees right in front of us right now. So anything that comes from palm tree-ish environment, you're going to find lots of here. Although, to be honest, in the area we're in, at least, there's not much growing. I imagine there's farms somewhere.
Yeah,
but not,
I mean, we're sort of in Resort Central here. So
exactly. And the other thing that
we're not going to really, if what's falling asleep.
The other thing that they'd have here a lot is tea. We haven't explored it that much. Tea tarik, which is sort of like a lot of Asian tea. It's a spiced tea with milk and sweetened.
It's condensed milk.
Condensed milk, so it's a very sweet, spicy milk.
And the way they make it is really, I mean, we get it out of a machine here, but they make it by sort of pouring it back and forth between 2 big cups. Yeah. With at a whole arm's length, so it's like got this really neat visual aspect to it.
And I think it froths it up a little bit.
Yeah.
When you do that, the problem with the machine here is it tends to it doesn't quite froth and doesn't mix as well, so you tend to have stronger flavor.
It's a coffee machine. It's got coffee, all espresso based coffee, hot water, milk, tea tarik. And it's like, when you come to a resort, you don't come for the coffee, that's for sure.
The other thing, actually, we should mention, fruit juices here everywhere.
Are spectacular.
And obviously at the resort, Allison's decided the other day she wanted to get the sourest drink she could for me, and did fairly well. But there's a lot of fruit juice is definitely the thing here.
You liked it.
I loved it. I never realized sour drinks harshly underrated.
And it's funny, like when you come to a resort, if there's something that you want, you just ask for it.
A good resort.
A good resort.
A bad resort, or I mean, a good, even a medium resort probably won't. They'll have a menu and that's it.
But yeah, like you can sort of go, what kind of concoction do I want to make? Because they have mocktails and cocktails, and so it's like suggested mixes of fruit. But you can sort of go, hey, what about something like this? And they're like, sure, let's try.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can ask them. It's like, what you got? Like, because on their menu they don't tell you that they have banana syrup and vanilla syrup and grenadine and all that stuff. So you can just sort of ask them to go through what they've got behind the bar and make up your own stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we covered the nicer restaurant, which I'll be honest isn't the best food I've ever eaten, but it was okay.
It was all right.
We've gone through desserts here are sort of can be hit and miss, I find.
Yeah, I find resort desserts are not the best.
Yeah.
But can I talk about my breakfast?
Trivia is starting.
Trivia's starting.
We gotta go soon.
Afternoon coffee games at the bar. So every morning for breakfast, including my omelet, I also get a big bowl full of yogurt, and I fill it with I think about 7 different types of seeds. And it's just so yummy, like flax seeds and chia seeds and sesame seeds and sunflower seeds but it's just a whole this array of seeds, and it just makes this amazing yogurt.
Yeah. And like I said, dessert-wise, you get a lot of sort of what I call hotel cakes, which are those little squares, generally kind of flavorless.
Yeah. They had crepes.
Yeah, and they're okay.
Yeah.
Their pancakes are disappointing, but that's because it's a French resort.
Yeah, but we're Canadians. So.
No French people know how to make proper pancakes.
No, they know how to make crepes.
Yeah.
But not pancakes.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I mean, things are pretty good here.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
You know what I like about, actually, the one thing I should mention about the food here is they don't hold back on spice. Because they get an international audience here. It's not like a lot of North American resorts. Like if you go to a Disney resort and you go eat, the spicy food won't be insanely spicy.
Yep.
But you will get insanely spicy bites here.
Oh, yeah. But they'll warn you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. They're like, that's really spicy. And you're like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't hold back.
But, here, I don't know about other resorts because we haven't been to that many.
The security
the spice is flavorful. It's not just hot for the sake of being hot. It's flavorful as well, which is kind of nice.
We just had a security guard walk by, and so we pretended we were talking to each other.
He's not checking for what we're saying or what we're doing. He's checking to make sure we have the wristbands.
Yeah. Resort life is a very, very different lifestyle.
Yeah. We've been chased down by security a few times at night when we're doing weird wanders.
Yep.
Because you have to have a Club Med wrist bracelet on.
Don't give away the security thing.
Well, but we're not telling them what it looks like.
Okay.
So you can't make your own.
You can't make your own out of maybe something like an orange ribbon or something.
That would be hilarious.
But yeah,
okay.
I mean, in general, there's a lot of fun events, a lot of relaxing, a lot of looking at the sea, a lot of fish to eat. Yeah. Some local food, some international food. I mean, resort life, it's slightly bland, but still kind of fun.
Yeah, it's sort of like international food, like stuff that everybody's used to, but with the ability to get adventurous if you want. Yeah.
Although they always there is a bit of a 95% rule.
Well, that exists everywhere in the world.
But I'm just saying, like with the food, like you'll find something and you'll be like, I've had this in Japan. It's not quite like this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the karaage was kind of like...
There's been a few things like that.
And then I talked to some of the Japanese staff, and they were sort of like, yeah...
They do their best.
They do their best. And it's good. I mean, it's acceptable.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we can probably wrap this up.
I think we probably
We have a trivia game to go play.
That's right.
This is our last day, and then we're out of here.
Yeah.
And we're well relaxed, though.
And you can't really win trivia here. You just sort of shout out answers, and nobody keeps score, which is kind of fun.
So thanks for listening to another episode of Junk Food on the Road, this time about...
resorts.
Well, pretty much Bali, actually.
The resort we're in Bali and the nearby convenience stores.
Yeah, and I thought this might just be about resorts, but we actually really didn't have enough content to just kind of focus about this place.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
As always, you can follow us on Twitter @CandyCritic, and you can find that picture of that coffee that we found, that carbonated coffee. You can also go to candycritic.org and find links to all of our social media, including Facebook and Twitter. And also make sure to go to Patreon and follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/candycritic. So thanks for listening to another episode, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Well, now I got a gal and there ain't no doubt. She got kisses so sweet they make my teeth fall out. Yo, cane sugar, yeah, she's your cane sugar. Your cane sugar, sweet as she can be. She put lipstick on his candy apple red, strawberry blonde on a pretty lady. Yo, cane sugar, yeah, I like your cane sugar. Your cane sugar.